Blog Talk Radio.
Rockers in Recovery Media is dedicated to carrying the message of addiction recovery through music, news, events, and festivals taking place within and not limited to the clean and sober community.
Hey, good morning. John Hollis with Waking Up Blessed. I want to welcome everybody to the show. If you're tuning in for the first time, Waking Up Blessed is a great way to start our day. Thank God we get to wake up blessed. And it's about inspirational stories of experience, strength, and hope. And you can tune in Monday through Friday right at rockersinrecovery.com. Click on the logo that says Listen Live, and that's 9 a.m. every Monday through Friday. And, of course, we have our website and social media outlets. You can go to Rockers in Recovery at Facebook. You can also listen there. You can also click the sign-up button and get the Waking Up Blessed sign up for the newsletter. Please check it out. It's definitely a great newsletter and lots of stuff and lots of information from addiction resources to all kinds of other stuff that's happening in the industry, that's happening in the communities, that's happening, of course, to help others to find the message of hope. So we're glad to be a part of the recovered community, one day at a time since 2008, and we're here to, as a media company, recovery-based media company, carry the message of hope on a daily basis through all of those platforms. But check it all out at rockersinrecovery.com, and thank you, of course, for our sponsors today, which would be SoberMap app that sponsored the show. SoberMap app can be found at sobermap.com. And we look forward to many more years with SoberMap hanging out with us. And this morning we have a great guest, Christopher Tait of Electric Six. He's going to be, of course, on the air with us here momentarily, talking about what Waking Up Blessed means to him and some of the projects that he's doing. He's got some really cool stuff he's doing. We're going to talk about all that. Christopher, welcome to the show. Thanks for being on Waking Up Blessed.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Good, thank you. So
yeah.
you're here on Waking Up Blessed, and as a person that's in recovery, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
What's Waking Up Blessed mean to you?
Well, Waking Up Blessed to me, I suppose, means starting the day the right way. Starting it with gratitude. Like you were saying, it's blessed to be able to wake up in recovery. I suppose we're blessed to be able to wake up at all. And considering some of the things we've been through, or I know I've been through, I know that in order for me to start the day the right way and to be able to practice gratitude, I have to go through a certain set of things. Because some days, I'm human and I have the whole self-will thing going on, and I have the war between my ears going on, and the best way for me to start usually is waking up and making the bed. As silly as that sounds, there were many years before recovery where there was no making the bed. There were no sheets on the bed, and starting the day with just getting up and performing a simple function that builds structure. I like to do that and stay away from the phone for the first half hour of the day if I can. Again, it adds. Looking at headlines or just about anything online could usually start the day with anxiety, and I need time to try and set the direction for the day.
Excellent. What are some of the methods that you use? I mean, listen, for me, and people, as I explain it in the mornings, is that I get up, I feed the squirrels, I feed the flying feathered friends that are out front of my porch as I sit and pray and read my little black meditation book, and do the things that I need to do to get centered. And just like yourself, putting down the phone is really a huge thing for me. I cannot do that because once I get into that, I will not do the things that I need to do. So it has to be kind of a structured thing for me where I don't get involved. What are some of the things that you do, methods? Do you read something? Do you get plugged in? How do you work it first thing in the morning?
Well, there's definitely type of meditation that I do that's just a 10-minute thing where I focus on an organ inside the body to try and clear everything out, and if something creeps in there, I'd push it out and I'd focus again on like the heart, and that usually it's supposed to, and it seems to work fairly well at lowering cortisol levels and you know, keeping me from just balling up right at the beginning of the day and stressing out. And again, of course, you know, not looking at the phone. I can't stress that one enough. I work at a treatment center here called Brighton Center for Recovery in Michigan, and we talk a lot about starting the day different ways, and I think that's the universal one. I mean, people don't realize how much it affects them. You know, just rolling out of bed and looking at the gadgets, and it sends the anxiety levels through the roof right out of the gate. My wife and I just got a little rescue dog from Texas, so I usually take her for a walk. Sometimes that usually really starts the day out right, but not always, because we're still going through some arm wrestling matches with her as to who's the boss. But she's been great so far, and that really helps. But yeah, usually the most important part of it to me is the first half hour. Like, what am I going to do with that? And I mean, I have had days where we don't make the bed, and I come home, and it's a different day than it would have been, and that's a huge one. I know it sounds silly, but it's that one helps, and definitely the time to myself, just quiet time, at least 10 or 15 minutes at the start.
These are all great suggestions for, you know, people that may be listening that's new, and even some, you know, people that are not. You know, we get to, you know, learn something new every day, you know, in recovery. If we have an open mind and we stay teachable, you know, you might be saying something this morning that somebody, you know, it clicks for them and says, you know, something that might be something I need to do too. So this is a great thing. If somebody was out there and they were struggling and they, you know, needed to recommit to recovery, or they didn't know what recovery was, how would you put a face on recovery? What would you say to those folks?
Well, you know, I guess for me, it what it came down to was, you know, as I first sobered up, I was thinking to myself, you know, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get through each day without, you know, for me, alcohol and cocaine were the big ones. How am I going to get through it? And at first, it's a physical level, as far as you know, substance addiction, and the more you go, the more I went, the more I realized, and the more I talked to people and actually opened my mind to change, the more I realized that it was, you know, that was all a mask for things that were going on underneath, anxiety and depression, and things I hadn't been taking care of in my life for 15 years, and relationships and everything else. And it works a lot like the way depression is, where if you bury it and you don't make a change, or you can't motivate yourself, you know, the deeper the hole goes. And that was the biggest issue for me was likewise, after I, you know, once I had spent some time in sobriety and talked to some people, things were nowhere near, and recovery was nowhere near as daunting as I had anticipated. But I was expecting things to change on their own, and that's not the way it works. Obviously, you have to make changes in order to change your perspective on life or anything else. And so to learn how to change and to actually see growth in my own life, I had to talk to other people who'd gone through it before me.
Absolutely. Good stuff. You know, yesterday, I'll give you a perfect example. You know, you go through your days, there's trials and tribulations, things come up, and, you know, walked into the office yesterday morning without the AC for 11 hours in Florida. So it was one of those days that, you know, like the temperature in you know, the building was 92 at one point. And we still had to motivate and go through. And something, how do I do that? Well, during that time period, was I frustrated and pissed off? Absolutely. Did I react the same way I used to? No, I didn't. It was like, what's the solution in this? What's the solution?
Practicing acceptance, right?
Exactly, man. And I started out the day with a guy named Dale yesterday, on Waking Up Blessed, and we talked about it. I mean, it was like we incorporated what was going on right into the show. So that being said, when you're going through those trials and tribulations, your AC kicks out, your car doesn't work. The new dog that you're training isn't doing what it's supposed to do, what you think it's supposed to do. All of those things. How do you react? What do you do to pause and take a breath? And what do you do? How do you work that?
Well, that's it's funny because before I sobered up, I didn't really have any choices to make, and there wasn't really much going on because I didn't have any accountability and I didn't have anyone to answer to because I had isolated myself. And if anything did come along that was a struggle, I'd just jump back into a bottle. I mean, that was my MO. And now, because I'm an addict and the behaviors remain, I do the opposite. And, I take on too many things sometimes, and I get overwhelmed, and it's a different type of struggle, but it's a similar behavioral patterns because I just do something too much. And I guess now the difference for me is the ability, like you said, to take a step back and acknowledge that, I have a choice in this. My only choice is not alcohol. I can take a step back and survey and try and I do have options because I know that I'm going to show up when I say I do. I know that I'll always answer the phone, and I know I'll be of service whenever possible. And the ability to have those decisions and be able to make them is liberating. And for me, it's just finding balance. It's great that I have that people rely on me now, and it's great that I can be of service and that I can help and that I can go to work and that I can do things, that I can drive even. If you want to start with basics, I couldn't drive for 8 years in the 2000s. And it's to me, it's just acknowledging when I'm overdoing it and having to take a step back and find balance. And usually, because the way my life is structured as an addict, for me that involves, going back to basics, going to a meeting, calling somebody on the phone, again finding some wisdom from somebody outside of my head, because like so many other people, I didn't believe that anybody else was going through the same struggles that I was going through. I think that's probably a familiar tale for a lot of people. Certainly no one could be going through the same things that I am. And, in early sobriety, the more I let my guard down, the more I realized that everybody has a different story, but they're all very similar. And that's why meetings are so important across the country, is you find universal struggles and you relate to people and you find out how they've dealt with things.
You get to plug in and get that strength too. You get to be able to walk in and just just go, okay. Here I am, like plugging in and get that message.
Shoulders,
Yeah. So I'm really glad that you came on with us. You have a great message, and I want to talk about now the project that you're working on. And you come out of the music industry. You are a musician, and you put together a pretty good project. Tell the listeners what you're doing, where you're from as far as the music industry is concerned, and what you're doing for this project. I think it's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, I've toured with a Detroit band called Electric Six for about 15 years, 7 of them sober now, and I did some writing for local radio stations, and I had worked for Beats Music for a while. But primarily I've been a touring and recording musician, and when I first started touring sober, I realized that there was, for me personally, it was a real struggle to try and find these meetings that we're talking about and these people and these communities when I was on the road. There's a lot of information out there, but it's not always updated and it's not always accurate. And so in Detroit, originally we just wanted to have people know that there was a universal number they could call, just a phone number, and say, hey, I'm coming through there. I need some help. And all we do, the organization here is called Passenger Recovery, and it's just us answering these phone calls and getting people to meetings, figuring out when they have time for them. You know, for people on tour, especially on the level that we tour on, which is just a van and trailer across the U.S., the variables change every day. Loading times are different, sound check times are different, stage times are different, and meetings don't tend to sway with that, you know, and sometimes they're across town. And when I first sobered up, you know, Uber and Lyft were not really an option. So it was a real struggle to try and get to the support that is so crucial. And for me, when I had sobered up, it's, you know, and I'd established a community here, going on tour was like losing that anchor. It was like, it was kind of like a lonely island that I had to struggle to find these people in other towns. And so here in Detroit, we just wanted to make Passenger as available as possible, where we would just get people to meetings, and we have a clean, sober green room that's just a spot where people can spend time before the show, but not within the elements of the show. You know, just a space to decompress and get some quiet time. And so that's what we've done for the first few years, and we had a couple of great events as well here. We had Lowell Tolhurst from The Cure came in and gave his story, and he had just put a book out about his struggles with sobriety. And we had Brett Netson from Built to Spill, who also came through and told us how he stayed sober on the road, and talked about his story. And and now we're focused on a Compass, which is a meeting finder app that we're looking to try and spread nationwide. The Compass is really based on the experiences I've had that didn't work. I've dealt with apps and websites before, and again, we just had a real hard time with misinformation. I had gone to a meeting in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it was an empty field. I'd gone to a meeting in Asbury Park, and it was a bowling alley and with a bar inside of it. And so we're trying to, we've populated Southeast Michigan and certain cities across the country, and we're trying to keep it as updated as possible and as efficient, as easy as possible, where people would just be able to look at this thing and punch an address in, and it'll show you what's around that address.
Excellent stuff. And as far as the community effort, somebody's touring through Michigan and they need support, they can reach out to you how?
They can either email us at passengerrecovery.com, or there's a contact phone number there, and somebody will answer and work through things. You know, oftentimes, actually, when people call us, because things change so much the evening of the show, we usually try to get them to morning meetings the next morning, because it's a lot easier. Generally, bands, because of their hours, don't leave till a little bit later, even though the drives are long, especially in the Midwest. People don't usually leave till 10 or 12 in the morning, so we usually try to get them to a meeting in the morning. But if it works in the evening, like the day of the actual show in Detroit, we'll do that too. Whatever works the best.
Very cool.
And yeah, with the Compass, we're running a campaign, doing crowdfunding through Patronicity, and right now until August 25th, we're asking people to contribute 3 different ways. They can either give a tax-deductible donation, or they can email us and we will send them a PDF with some information as to how to populate the map if they want to help us with that. Or they can contribute by purchasing one of the bundles that we have. We've had a lot of people from the world of arts and music contribute to this. The Flynn Institute of Arts, which is north of Detroit, contributed some annual memberships. We've had signed drum heads from the Austin rock band The Sword, some signed books and DVDs from Patti Smith. It's kind of all over the map, and we can find it all at our funding website. It's patronicity.com/compass, and you can take a look through the bundles there and see if anything works for you. It's important to me to mention also that with the Compass, there's an option to report meetings, but also that we will be working with central offices to try and make the information there as updated as possible beyond the efficiency of the actual the information that's there for the user. So it's really just it's based on the struggles that I've had in the past on the road, but that I've also heard that other people have had as far as talking with other musicians and realizing what works best for them and just making it as easy as possible to plan ahead and get to someone or something in the next town.
Very cool. And in closing, I want to just thank you again for being on the show. I mean, listen, great, powerful message, a lot of hope, strength. Most importantly, you're here to, share your experience with everybody. And through that, we get to, walk another day with maybe something that we were able to take from the show. So I want to thank you for being on it. And just in closing again, one more time on your Facebook setup, if you are on any of the pages that, of course, you're listening on any of the platforms, Rockers in Recovery, or on Facebook, Blog Talk Radio, anywhere you may be catching this. And later on tonight when we rebroadcast it on Facebook Live, you'll be able to click right on where it says Christopher Tait, highlighted in blue, and it brings you right to the project's Facebook page. So please make sure that you do that and check it out, and also remember to sign up for the newsletter for Waking Up Blessed. We want to thank everybody for being a part of the show, and Christopher, again, thank you so much for being on. We're going to ask you to come back in the future and update us on what you're doing in Detroit and across the country.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. You have a great day. Guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We want to thank SoberMap app for being a part of our world. You can check out SoberMap app at sobermap.com. You can click on, of course, the download. You can download SoberMap app, and it'll give you locations of local meetings around the country. And you can also check out the rest of our media partners. We have addiction resources, we have goods and services, we have other helpful links like Music Cares, and of course we have SAMHSA on there. There's all the types of 12-step information for 12-step meetings and non-12-step meetings. 12-step meetings like got some really kind of cool things going on out there where you can get in where you fit in. So check it out right at rockersinrecovery.com. Just click on Media Partners. You can find all of that stuff out. So listen, you guys have a great day, and we look forward to our next show on Waking Up Blessed, and we look forward to having you guys tune in and being a part of our world. And again, the new issue of Waking Up Blessed, the newsletter, will be going out this weekend, so if you hadn't had a chance, please sign up today for the newsletter. You can do it at Rockers in Recovery on Facebook. Just click the Sign Up tab, and you're on your way. So thank you all for your support. Look forward to a blessed day, and I hope you do too. May I glad or sad we don't get to pick up one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. This morning we're going to play a song called Smash Palace, or it's called It Happened to Me by Smash Palace. You can check out Smash Palace at Smash Palace on Facebook. David Yusekian and the boys of the Hooters are touring Europe right now, but when he gets back, he's going to be working and doing some work with Smash Palace again. Great band, by the way, David. So check them out at Smash Palace, at Smash Palace on Facebook. It happened to me, and here it is.
Rockers in Recovery Radio is based on opinion only and is not meant to treat or diagnose any health or mental health issue of any kind. If you feel you need help for any health-related issues, please contact a physician or mental health professional. The opinions expressed by our guests are not necessarily those of Rockers in Recovery.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.